Welcome everyone to our webinar on elevating your data with FME subscription offerings. We're so glad that you're all joining us here today. I'll mention before we dive into things, we will have a lot of time at the end for some Q&A. So if you do have any questions that come up throughout the webinar, please don't hesitate to leave those in the question panel and we will address some questions at the end. All right, so with that being said, we will dive in and start to introduce our presenters.
Hi there, my name is Zabeen Jaffer, and I'm an account manager at SAFE for utilities and telcos.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tom Seymour. I'm Senior Account Manager for State, Provincial and Local Government.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sarah Mack, and I'm the Account Manager for Education, Technology, Healthcare, and Conservation.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Malika Oustad, and I work on the channel strategy as well as running the partner program.
Hi, everyone. My name is Craig Henke. I work with the transportation industry, including airports, as well as federal agencies in North America, and appreciate everybody joining.
Hey everyone, my name's Artie and I lead our channel team here at SAFE covering the Americas and Asia Pacific.
Awesome, what an amazing team of panelists we have today. I'm really excited for this. So before we dive into things, we thought it would be interesting to ask all of you, what industry and what country are you joining us from today? So type into that question panel on the GoToWebinar control panel and hit send. We'll be very interested to see. And we'll give everyone just a few moments here to do that. Okay. And at this point, we will turn off our webcams just to save some bandwidth throughout the rest of the presentation. And I will hand things over to Malika.
Hi, so as many of you know, our main mission as an organization is to help companies to make the most of their data. With that being said, I'll go over a few items that you may be interested in knowing about our company. So SAFE Software is a leader in enterprise spatial data integrations. So we've been solving data challenges for over 27 years now, and today our enterprise integration platform, known as FME, enables over 13,000 organizations worldwide, and that includes many industries such as energy, AEC, local and federal government, utilities, telecommunication, as well as transportation. We are primarily a software vendor, and we also work with a well-established partner ecosystem made of over 190 strong trusted channel partners that are located all over the world in 28 countries. They truly are an extension of SAFE Software, our boots on the ground doing all the professional and consulting services. We also have an amazing growing community with over 16,000 active users where you can share ideas, join users groups, take part in forums, access official FME related documentation, and so much more. So on the agenda today, we will go through a few items that you can see on your screen. We'll go through the FME platform, our main goals with this webinar. We'll also explain what are the difference between perpetual licenses and subscriptions. We'll individually go through all the subscription programs offerings that we have, and we'll finish by a Q&A sessions at the very end. I hope you enjoy this webinar, and it's over to you, Tom. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Malika. So for those of you that perhaps are brand new to FME this morning, this is our product range for the FME platform. FME Desktop is really the base product and the core product that everybody starts with. So within Desktop, you build and author your data integration workflows. As you can see, it's a visual GUI with a drag and drop interface, so it's a no-code environment. We have readers and writers for moving data in and out of the platform, and then transformers for manipulating, enriching, and integrating your data in various ways. From there, we have FME Server, which is our automation tool, so you can publish your workspaces from desktop to server, and then you can automate them in a number of ways. These could be simply a time schedule, or we have trigger events, which are more intelligent, so you could have an incoming email, or a directory watch or an FTP watch, for example, trigger those workflows. And then FME Cloud is essentially FME Server as well, but we host this for you in AWS. And this graph here shows our range of unrivaled data support. FME can connect to over 500 data formats and business systems currently. We have the world's best support for spatial data integration. That's probably how we're best known. But FME is also an enterprise level data and application integration platform for non-spatial data formats. If there's a system that we don't currently have a connector or a transformer to, as long as there's a publicly available REST API or a database connection on the back end, FME can connect. And SAFE partners with Gartner, who are the world's leading research and advisory company. Each year they release a peer insights report, which is their peer-driven ratings and reviews platform for enterprise IT solutions covering over 300 technology markets. SAFE are very proud to have been recognized as a strong performer in the January 2022 Voice of the Customer for Data Integration Tools report. And we have aspirations as we continue to grow and develop the FME product to move into the customer's choice quadrant in the top right there. We do encourage you to read the full report to see how customers feel about FME and how it's helped their organizations solve their data challenges. Just a quick note here that this is a non-technical webinar today, so there won't be any demos of the product. So our goal for today's webinar is really to introduce you to our high-value procurement options, which are our industry-specific subscriptions and our enterprise subscription that enable organizations to deploy FME at scale across the enterprise based on an annual fee rather than the higher upfront cost of the perpetual license model. We'll discuss why you might want to enter into subscription, the benefits of doing so, and when might be the right time to do it. We also want to show that our subscription pricing is transparent, easy to understand, with entry points to meet your budget and licensing needs. And lastly, and most importantly, we want to highlight the flexibility of our subscription offerings. Perhaps your organization doesn't fit into a particular pricing tier, or you need to ramp up licensing slowly over a number of years, or perhaps there isn't a subscription currently for your industry. Don't worry, come and talk to us and we can find a solution that works for you. Over to you, Ardi.
Awesome, thanks, Tom. So once you've worked with either your account manager at Safe Software or your channel account manager and a partner to figure out the right solution for your organization with FME to solve your data challenges, comes the topic of pricing and how do we price a solution. So I'll be going over a very high level of the different pricing options that we have here at Safe Software with our perpetual licenses and our subscriptions, and I'll start off with our perpetual licenses. So these are licenses that are sold per seat for FME Desktop and by engine for FME Server. Now, these licenses are each priced individually with each edition of FME Desktop, as well as each engine on FME Server. And each environment is also priced separately as well, meaning production, staging, and development. The prices of our perpetual licenses have not changed over the past 21 years. And as you'll see by visiting safe.com/pricing, we have really no intentions of ever changing the prices of our perpetual licenses. In order for a customer or an organization to take advantage of security upgrades, version upgrades, or to get support from Safe Software for the perpetual licenses, they will have to ensure that the licenses are kept up to date as far as maintenance goes. And the maintenance is charged on an annual basis at a percentage of 20% of the list price of the licenses that you purchased. Now, where the perpetual licenses are most ideal for organizations and users is when they're looking at FME at a very small deployment. It might be a couple of licenses, and there might not be any sort of plans of expansion outside of the initial project or that one department. Or it might be an organization that is really looking at leveraging their capital expenditure or CapEx from a purchasing perspective versus OpEx. The benefit of the perpetual licenses is, yes, you do own these licenses. These are licenses that are considered assets to an organization. However, with that being said, some of the challenges that we've seen when it comes to perpetual licenses and the lack of flexibility around it is when you're looking to upgrade from one edition of FME to another, going from professional to Esri or database, for instance, there's costs associated to that, which means you have to go through procurement or finance in order to get approval for that purchase before you're able to finalize it. That can also be said for FME Server as well. A lot of our customers that are looking at getting into automation with FME Server, they sometimes hit a bit of a snag from a procurement perspective because it does take a long time for some of these approvals to get through procurement before they're able to come to fruition from a licensing perspective. So that's the idea about perpetual licenses, is that you own the assets. However, anytime you want to make any changes, you are required to either pay a upgrade fee, and in order to continue using the licenses at its latest version, you are required to also pay a 20% annual maintenance on top of that. Our subscriptions, as my colleagues will touch on later in the presentation, these are customized bundles of both FME Server and desktop included in one price that also takes into consideration the annual maintenance of the solution as well. So not only do you get access to every single edition of FME, a desktop, but you also get access to as many engines as you would need, and also dynamic engines as necessary as well. I like to compare our subscription offering to the Netflix model, for instance. We pay a flat monthly fee to Netflix, and we're able to consume as much TV shows, movies that Netflix offers within their platform. Same thing with the FME subscriptions that we have available as well. For a flat yearly fee, our customers are able to get full access to the FME platform to start leveraging it in multiple different environments. Again, the subscriptions are really meant and perfect for organizations that are looking at the full FME platform deployment with desktop and server with automations, as well as customers that are on the cusp of paying their annual maintenance, and they're also looking at what their future of FME looks like. This is a perfect time for us to look at the subscription, because as you're looking to pay your annual maintenance and you're looking at additional licenses, we might be able to give you a pricing offer that is more streamlined and helps address your needs in the short term and long term. In addition to that, organizations that are really having challenges with continuously having to go through procurement to ask for budgets and for approval, and they don't want to have any sort of time lag on their projects because the projects are quite time sensitive, this is the perfect opportunity for us to be able to talk to our customers about the subscription offering that we have. Some of the benefits of the subscription, again, the lower acquisition costs. Getting into the FME platform is a much lower barrier to entry because of the flat annual fee that again takes into consideration the maintenance as well as all additions of desktop and server. I mentioned that it does eliminate time lag on projects. So if there's a project that comes along that's a critical timeline and you don't want to have to worry about budgets and having to go through approvals, the subscription is a perfect fit for that. It does help make budgeting more predictable and reduce the cost of procurement. Because you're paying the flat annual fee, your costs will not change during the course of the year unless you were to have to renegotiate your agreement with SAFE for some reason. And in addition to that, again, every licenses that is being requested under the subscription, it does not increase your costs, and you don't need to pay additional fees for each licenses that you're requiring under the subscription, which also ties into the fact that it allows you to be more flexible. So as your organizational needs start to change or grow, FME platform can grow with you under the subscription model much more fluidly. As always, when it comes to Safe Software and FME, the choice is all within your hands. There's no right or wrong way of doing business with Safe Software and our partners when it comes to getting the FME platform, whether perpetual or subscription. However, with the benefits that we went over with the subscription, there is a lot of value in being able to get into the world of the FME platform through the subscription, rather than having to budget for each individual project and need as it comes on with our perpetual licenses. But again, the choice is always yours, and we're always happy here at Safe Software and with our partners to help guide you through your journey. Next, I will pass it over to Tom to go through our subscription programs.
Awesome, thanks Adi. So now let's take a deeper dive into some of the subscription offerings. Currently, we have 6 industry-based subscriptions, 2 of which are brand new this year, the startup subscription and the public safety subscription. And then outside of the industry offerings, we also have the enterprise subscription. So each of the account managers will now go through the subscriptions that they are the industry experts for, starting with local government. The local government subscription is a highly successful subscription that's been around for 3 years now. It's had rapid take-up globally for small to mid-sized cities, which it was designed for. It provides an all-you-can-eat model for FME desktop and FME server. The pricing model is tiered based on a city or a county's population. And the great thing for many organizations is that it provides ultimately a ceiling on price for the maximum amount of money that they would ever pay for subscription due to the population tier that they're in. And looking here at some of the common use cases for the local government subscription, these resonate, not only across North America, but globally. Things such as application integration. So this could be integrating between your asset management system, permitting and licensing, GIS systems. Many governments now share data of their constituents through open data. One-call solutions, or call before you dig, for underground utility information packets. Digital plan submissions for as-built drawings moving from CAD into GIS is probably the #1 use case across North America for local governments. So there's a whole host of things here that our customers use the subscription for solving their data challenges. And we do have a very good blog post covering this. You can see at their bottom right, 8 ways local governments can improve operations using data integration. So we do encourage you to look at that if you have time following this webinar. And then for the first of our new subscriptions for 2022 is the public safety subscription. We built this essentially because customers were asking for it, and we thought there was a need for it. We had a number of police service organizations that were looking to have unlimited use of FME, but the local government subscription model didn't quite work for them with their budgets. So we've amended that subscription to more suit the budgets and the use case needs of public safety organizations. We've essentially broadened the population tiers that are applicable to the pricing tiers, so it works better for smaller budgets. And of course, public safety organizations have a very bespoke set of use cases that aren't as varied as local governments. The population tier is now population served rather than the population of a county or a city. This also provides a ceiling on price for these organizations and great flexibility to scale as you use FME. Really, it's been designed for the organizations that you can see there: police, fire, EMS, hazmat, really for organizations that have IT networks that sit outside of the local city or the county. And with that, I'll pass it over to Sarah to talk about the education subscription.
Thanks, Tom. So this is our education subscription, and we created this subscription for universities, colleges, school districts, K-12 schools, and any other educational institution. And just like with most of our other subscriptions, this one grants you access to unlimited FME desktop and FME server licenses, and pricing is based on the population served. So in this case, the tiers are based on the population of your full-time and part-time students. This subscription is intended for facility operations, student management, basically anything to do with the day-to-day running or maintenance of a school or a campus. So we've had schools use this subscription for campus planning, like keeping their floor plans up to date on a regular basis, or integrating their learning management systems with their enterprise systems, or others have used FME to streamline their course creation process. The one thing that this subscription is not intended for is teaching and student learning. So teaching, research, and student licenses are accessible under our free license program, and you can apply for one of those at safe.com/free-FME-licenses. If you're not sure of whether the education subscription or one of the free licenses is a good fit for your situation, just send us a message and we can have a chat about it. Now I'll hand it off to Craig to tell you about our airport subscription.
All right, thanks, Sarah. So very similar to the other subscriptions, the airport subscription provides unlimited access to the FME platform, and it includes your annual maintenance. The single annual payment is based on passenger volume, or rather your total enplaned passengers for the year, the previous calendar year. The amount of cargo traffic isn't taken into consideration. And to know if you're a good fit, you'd qualify for the program as an airport and as an airport authority. So whether you're an airport is operated and managed by a local county, a municipality, or a regional government. And right now, while passenger volumes are still lower, it's a great time to take advantage of the airport subscription. Even if you're a larger airport looking to deploy FME for the first time, just reach out to me or a partner in your region, and we can take a look to see if the airport subscription is a good fit for your organization. We have plenty of resources for you to dig into and learn how many internationally recognized airports are already using FME. There's quite a few here, so I encourage you to check these links out. There's articles, there's blog posts, webinars showcasing various demos and integrations, everything from facilities management like CAD and BIM, indoor mapping, and that digital twin that you're looking to develop, application integration such as asset management to various business systems and maintenance, and then airspace management, so obstructions, reporting, AIXM, and FME has shown to solve these business problems and data challenges to improve passenger experience, which in turn drives airport revenue. And with that, I'll pass it over to Zubin.
Thank you, Craig. FME helps utilities solve key business challenges. Some of these areas include operational efficiency, asset management, outage management, and sharing data with the public. And so with this in mind, we've built a utility subscription program. And this allows your utility to deploy an unlimited amount of FME desktop and server for a single annual price. We created this program to allow small and mid-sized utilities to use the platform across your organization and to give you the ability to deploy it in production as well as test and staging environments. The cost is based on the number of customers you serve, and utilities looking to develop and expand FME desktop and server can take advantage of this program and accelerate their projects. If your industry falls outside the program, we can set you up with an enterprise subscription. Under this program, you can select a base price with a threshold value that fits your needs and evolves as your requirements change. We offer tiered pricing and unlimited FME options as well, which makes it easier to manage your assets versus one-off license requests. The enterprise subscription offering is a great way to deploy the platform, and it is intended to give you a wide level of flexibility, predictable budgeting, and a lower upfront cost. And now over to you, Malika.
Thank you, Zubin. So I'll go over the startup subscription on this slide. So over the past few years, more and more startup companies have approached Safe Software with a very growing need for FME. Very recently, we came up with a tailored subscription program to accommodate those ever so changing types of organizations. So as any of our subscription programs, there's going to be a few conditions and guidelines to benefit from this. And some of them include to have a minimum annual revenue, to demonstrate an increasing need for FME, and obviously being a recently established technology company. Upon signing the contract with your dedicated Safe Software partner, there will be a few requirements, such as providing a customer story, actively promote FME in your social media or on your website, for example, as well as regular check-in calls with your local channel partners for extra support. As for pricing, there won't be any cost for year 1. However, there will be a special pricing for year 2 and year 3. Our slides are coming to an end. We really hope you found this webinar super insightful. A few more steps for you to take now. First of all, we strongly encourage you to go and visit our website. There's a lot of insightful information available for you. You can learn further on the subscription offerings that fit your company's needs and goals. And you can also reach out to our live chat that is available, I believe, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. on PST time. Send an email to info@safe.com or get in touch with a safe software partner near you. It was such a pleasure presenting to you today. Please do not hesitate to reach out to us. It will be our absolutely pleasure to help you.
Awesome. Thank you, Malika. So as a thank you for you all joining us today, we do have a community badge that you can redeem in the community. So just visit fme.ly/webinar badge, and today's code is on the screen there. And I'll also drop that in the chat in case you missed this as well. The peak of data integration, our 2022 UC, will be taking place this August. We're all eagerly anticipating this. It's been a long time coming. Apply to present. This has been extended, so definitely apply to present if you have a story to share, and register now as well. I'll drop those links in the chat. Check out our upcoming and on-demand webinars. We have a ton of great resources there for you. We will also post the recording from today's webinar there as well, so safe.com/webinars. Keep an eye on that page. All right, and at this point, we have some time to answer some questions. So we will turn back on our webcams and take some questions from the audience. Okay, awesome. So I did see a few questions come in, but before we get to those, we actually thought it would be interesting to kick things off with a question for the audience. So get ready to type into your question panel there in the GoToWebinar tab. Which of these subscription resonates with your needs based on the different subscription programs that we went through today? We'd be very interested to hear what resonates with everyone the most. So type into that question panel there on the right side. And we'll give everyone a few moments. Okay, and while we're waiting for people to type the answer to this one in, why don't we kick things off with one of the questions we received this morning. And I think this one's for you, Craig. If we are an airport, do we need to purchase via the airport program? AKA, is it mandatory?
Right, thanks for that. So as already kind of alluded to before, everything would be flexible. We're not going to force you into a subscription program. I do think that the airport subscription is, if you're an airport, it's provides the most value. But no, it's not mandatory because you're an airport that you have to kind of go into an airport subscription. Again, it's just meant to be an option, a choice that the operations team and the organization can make. So yeah.
Excellent. Okay, and it looks like we have some responses to this question we asked. Interesting to see we have several folks joining us from local government, utilities, public safety, a startup as well. Very cool. A couple startups. Okay. All right, so the next question that we received, current subscription offerings don't apply to my organization. What are my options here? Someone be comfortable taking that question?
Well, if the current subscription programs that we have, like the local government one, the public safety one, or even the startup one, don't fit your organization, that's why we have the enterprise subscription, which basically takes care of all of our customers, regardless of the industry they're in. Even with our industry subscriptions, such as local government and utilities, even if they are sort of limited from a population perspective. If you're outside of that population range, we can still fit you into a subscription under the enterprise one. So it's not that we don't have a subscription for everyone. We have a subscription for every industry and for any type of business that we can work with under our enterprise one.
Okay, here's an interesting one. I've already made a significant investment with FME. What are my options when it comes to a subscription?
Yeah, so I'll take a stab at this as well, and the team, feel free to jump in to help fill in the gaps. But if you've already purchased licenses from Save Software that are under perpetual licenses, and this sort of addresses a comment that was made in the chat as well. We are more than happy to roll in any existing assets that you have into the subscription, so you no longer have to pay a 20% annual maintenance on top of the annual fee of your subscription. So it makes things a lot more streamlined from a budgeting perspective. And what we can also do is we can also keep those perpetual licenses as perpetual within the agreement. So at the end of the subscription term, should you choose to not renew for whatever reason, you can still get the assets back that you had prior to the subscription into your asset list again and into your ownership, as long as you keep paying annual maintenance. Now, what I will say is we are never going to force customers to move one way or another of saying you either have to purchase perpetual licenses or buy a subscription. The choice is always yours. Of course, for other companies out there, such as Autodesk, that might force their customers into a subscription program, that's not really our model. Our model is flexibility. Our model is transparency. And our model is to work with you in a way that's best for your organization and to just give you the options that are available to you to help you make the most informed decision for your business.
I would just add as well, on top of what Hardy's mentioned there, that subscriptions are really designed as growth vehicles. So if you've made a significant investment and you're paying a lot of annual maintenance, but you need to purchase a large amount of new licenses for upcoming projects, or you're finally deploying across the enterprise, across other departments that you're working with, a lot of times rolling in those licenses and not having to pay AMC is a great benefit, because through the subscription you're not only offsetting the list price costs that would come with purchasing those new licenses, but you're not having to pay AMC on your licenses to get rolled into the subscription as well. So when both those factors are taken into account, when you're looking at the yearly fee, it's a really great cost benefit and saving for customers that are looking to grow.
Okay, and I might put it out to our team of panelists today. Did you see any other key questions we may want to highlight during this live session this morning? Or does anyone have one they would want to pick out there?
There is one that I would like to ask, and I think it's a bit linked to what we just said. But if you think that there's a subscription program or a subscription offering that you think would be valuable to you and your organizations, your customers, and what you see the industry that you're in, please let us know. There's several emails on the website. You can contact us directly, whether it's the partner team or the direct side, and then we can, we're always interested to know what the inputs are, and if there's anything that we could add to our program portfolio. So yeah, it would be very interesting to know if anybody has some inputs immediately. But if you don't, feel free to get in touch with us.
Awesome. Yeah, and just to echo what Malika said, if you do have a subscription program in mind that you'd like to see in the future, you can drop that in the question panel now. We'd be very curious to see.
Might be one here in the chat regarding the startup subscription. Do you offer any training, non-commercial licenses for startups with a revenue less than £1 million, so from the UK? Personally, I would like to work towards a service certification, but this is difficult without access. From James.
I could look at that one too. I think, but in general, I think what we would do is the best course of action there for just kind of training and personal use is, yeah, again, reach out to us. We can set you up with some free licenses. So if you're working towards a certification, fantastic. So you want to go through some of the courses, whether that's FME Academy or some of the other training that we have, we would be able to help with a free license for server. Just reach out to us so we kind of have a little bit of background information on kind of the projects you're looking at. And then, of course, if you are a startup, do reach out. You can reach out to Malika or to us, and we'd be happy to go through the startup program with you and help work towards that certification. So.
Awesome. Okay, another question we received. My organization has plans to scale up our FME deployment over time. How can a subscription improve this process?
I can take that one. So, I mean, this is quite common across local governments that there's a number of projects that they may want to address with FME, but obviously it takes time to implement those new systems on their own first before you even begin to look at doing FME integrations between those applications. So in those situations, it may be that you sit outside of a particular population tier, or you're within a population tier that's right, based on the population for your local government area. But if you're looking to ramp up slowly, you don't have a lot of FME to begin with right now, we can look at being flexible with the pricing, and that pricing can sort of ramp up over several years. So it not only aligns with your budgets, but it also aligns with your identified need to scale the FME over a number of years rather than deploying a lot initially. So pricing can be flexible as well as your licenses as you grow them.
Awesome. And there was another question here, similar on the same lines of budgeting. My budget cycle is calendar year, but I have immediate licensing requirements. What are my options with this?
I can take that one too. So again, this is fairly common. We can mold the subscription to work with your yearly budget. So we've had scenarios where if customers are looking to enter into a subscription, as long as we can get that signed agreement in place, we can enter you, several months early, and then you can start paying when your budget comes around. Likewise, if you've already paid your annual maintenance for the year, but you're looking to move into subscription perhaps 6 months into that payment, we can also look at deducting some of that annual maintenance cost off of a subscription fee to sort of pay that back to you. So total flexibility around your budgets and when your funds are available to enter subscriptions.
Awesome. Okay, we just have a couple questions left that we've received so far. If you do have any questions, for sure leave those in the question panel for us, and we'll get to them with the time we have remaining here. All right, I'll just go on to this next one here. So this individual is wondering, I have several existing FME desktop licenses. Can I use a subscription to buy FME Server or more licenses? Does anyone want to take on that question?
Sure. That's a great question. We have seen sometimes where an organization has a certain set of teams like desktop or a certain set of licenses. And what we could do is arrange to set up a new subscription for any of the growth that's happening, and we could kind of co-term it or something so that it makes sense for the annual payment, annual maintenance that you're doing on those perpetual licenses. It's desktop licenses, and then if you specifically want to get server and you're looking to grow and add a whole bunch of engines for automation, then yes, we would just kind of set up something where that subscription serves the growth that you anticipate for FME Server. So that's a great question. So again, just that we wouldn't roll those ones in. You could keep them separate. Yeah. Thanks.
Awesome. Okay. Our next question here. My organization includes multiple business units that cross over into a number of subscription categories. How would we best manage that?
I can take this one. So we've seen situations like this. For example, the utility and local government subscriptions often have a lot of crossover between them. So in this case, you're more than welcome to either merge the subscriptions together or even have separate ones for each group. And of course, like everyone else has mentioned previously, the enterprise subscription is kind of like the catch-all when it comes to subscriptions. It's in the name that the subscription is intended to be used across the enterprise. So that one's always an option. And like everyone has said a lot today, we're always very flexible. So just feel free to reach out and we can work something out.
Awesome. Okay. So it looks like we have our last question here. So if you do have any more questions, get them in now and we'll be sure to try to get to it by the end of our webinar here, but we might end a few minutes early. So our next question is, our project may take months or even years to move into production. How can a subscription help me with this?
Good question. So, we see this where projects or large integrations can take a lot of time or a few years. And so it's important to connect with your account manager and discuss your plans. And what you can do is essentially start at one of the lower tiers and then scale or grow as your projects start to evolve.
All right, and with that, I'll pull up this slide here, info@safe.com, if you guys have any questions that come up following the webinar or you want to connect with us further. If you do have a couple moments, we do have a webinar survey that will launch at the end here. Let us know how we did this morning. We always like to use that feedback to further improve our program. And we also have a question in there about if you guys would appreciate a one-to-one call with our sales team to follow. So be sure to fill that out. And a big thank you to all of our presenters here this morning. It was really nice to join you all. Awesome. And with that, I will leave the webinar open a few moments longer after we conclude here, just in case any other questions come in or you want to save out any links from the chat panel there. And with that, thanks everyone for joining us and hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks all.
Thanks everyone.